guys, welcome back. We are still playing Eliza. In the last episode, we counseled a guy named Darren, and it was super intense, and we got into a lot of philosophical discussions about AI and mental health here in the chat. We tried to play solitaire, and I didn't understand it at all because it wasn't like normal solitaire. And we got to talk to our boss too, and I think the jury's still out on her for me. I don't know how I feel about her. But I can see that we may be tempted to break from the script at some point, so I'm interested to see where that goes. Time for the next session. I hope this one is a little easier on my nerves. Oh, lady. Cool. Oh, and it's not her first session here. Cool. So we're going to actually see somebody who is here for their second session with Eliza.
Hello, Maya. Welcome back.
I like your pin.
Hi. Yes, I'm back.
Rainy out there today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good thing I put on my extra big raincoat this morning.
Thankfully, it's supposed to clear up later.
Well, gonna look weird with my giant coat tonight. Cool, cool, cool.
What brings you here today, Maya?
Right now I'm just nervous. I have the nerves. I've been trying to get my career off the ground for so long, like a really long time. And I still feel like I'm stuck on level 1 and... Sorry, I know we've talked about all this before. I probably don't need to go over it again. Anyway, there's this conference that's happening next week, right? Like media professionals, something. That's bad enough for my anxiety, but I was also invited to this party thing. It's like dinner and then a party. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. The point is, there's gonna be a lot of big, important, famous people there. Like people that I really look up to. People with big followings online and lots of fans and all of that. All of that.
And how does that make you feel?
So this lady seems a little bit more even-tempered. Cosplayers? Yeah, conventions.
I feel like, why? Like, why was I invited to this? I'm nobody. I am a serious, gigantic nobody.
Sounds like she's got imposter syndrome.
I don't have a show I'm doing or any collections out or a webcomic everybody loves. I mean, I tried to do those things, but nobody cared. I don't have fans or followers. I'm not even sure I have friends, like for real friends. I tried. I do try. I put my art online and update my social media accounts and I try to post consistently like they say to do, but yeah. I'm still in that, like, purgatory zone, just waiting to be discovered. I don't know, I feel like I was invited to this party thing as a way for someone to be mean to me, to remind me how successful everyone else is.
People don't really think like that. Not really. It's actually kind of an egocentric thing that people do where they assume everybody's out to get them, except it's actually kind of a narcissistic way of thinking, because in truth, ain't nobody really thinking about you except you, honestly. And if somebody does obsess over with you, that's kind of a them problem. At least that's how I choose to look at it. Excuse me.
Why am I even going to it? I mean, I know I should, to meet people and make connections or something.
Make connections.
Is meeting people and making connections your goal?
Well, I think it is. Networking? I'm supposed to do networking, right? I really have no idea what networking is. Hello, I'm Maya. I do comics and art and I write and stuff, and I have lots of characters and ideas, and would you like to give me money and I'll do those things for you?
Our heart rate's going up now.
Hi, I'm cool. Please like me. like me, hire me. Oh God, I hope they like me. I really, really hope I make a good impression at this thing. Of course, knowing the way things usually go for me, I'll fuck it up massively somehow. I'll fall into the fondue pot or throw up on someone, something like that.
I have 100% been here before, though.
I don't know if there's actually going to be fondue there. I'm just saying that. Kind of feels like something I would do.
Voice acting in this game is really good.
You sound a little concerned or afraid.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm terrified. What if they suddenly remember I'm a failure and shouldn't be drinking their booze and breathing their air? Eventually someone's gonna realize I'm not hip enough to be at this thing. Maybe it'll be polite, like a gentle tap on the shoulder. Excuse me, miss. I couldn't help but notice that you suck and not terrible. It's obviously just my anxiety talking. I know it won't go like that literally, but it could be like that in a figurative sense.
Okay, Maya. I want you to imagine things going well. What does that look like?
Have you guys noticed that the script is really similar to the last guy we were talking to?
Going well? Well, that would be a first for me. I suppose going well at this party means people start to learn about who I am. And maybe some of them help me with my career, and maybe some of them become my friends. Like, I want to be noticed as a creator, but I also want friends who are cool. That sounds super basic. You know what I mean. Is it okay to want that? I hope it is.
I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting that.
I want to be part of, like, a group.
Actually, I think for the longest time, that's really all I wanted. I used to watch Sex and the City and be so envious of, like, having a close group of people I could just always consider my friends no matter what I was going through. And it wasn't really, honestly, until my mid-20s that I ever felt like I had a group of friends like that. It just takes time and going through a lot of shitty people to find really great people that you can connect with like that.
And we like each other and support each other, and maybe the things I make won't be as good as the things they're making, but I hope they see my work and see me. Yeah, that's what I want.
What do you think it'll take to get to this ideal scenario?
Well, probably takes me being a different person than the one I am.
I don't think so.
Someone who's cool and alluring and has that air of mystery instead of being some kind of scrawny, nervous wreck. Someone with style and grace and poise. Someone who can walk into a room and own it. God, I wish I could do that. But only when I wanted to, because I also wish I could disappear when I wanted to. I know that's a little contradictory. Sorry.
Okay, Maya. I have some recommendations for you. First, I'm going to suggest a set of stress management exercises for you to do. You'll find them in the Skanda Wellness app on your phone.
Once again, everything sounds exactly like the last script. You know what I mean? Like everything is solved with the same series of answers.
They may be able to help you with your nervousness. Second, I recommend asking your doctor or psychiatrist about litosenal 2. Based on my analysis, this medication might help you feel better.
Drugs. Yes. Whatever you said that was called, I am on it.
You will get a reminder to check in with us in a few weeks.
I always do. I always get the reminder. I mean, not that I always act on it.
Thank you, Maya.
So that one went considerably better. She seems to be fond of the Eliza process. But I, as the player, am still skeptical because it doesn't really actually seem like Eliza's doing all that much in terms of personalizing the experience from person to person. It seems like we just listen to their problems. And maybe to a certain extent, that's really all therapists are. They're just prescriptive listeners, and they follow their own internal script. It's just a little unnerving and eerie to see it play out so similarly between two patients, even though their experiences are completely different.
We hope to see you back soon.
They all kind of went through the same process of, here's your problem. Tell me about your problem. What would it take to get to solve your problem. Here's some exercises on the Skanda Wellness app to help with your XYZ, and go to your doctor and ask for XYZ medication. So I wonder if that'll be a common theme.
Yeah, don't you say this every time?
Sure does.
Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. Goodbye.
Nice. Yay, I got a $5 tip. Ray comes over to talk to me after I finish my second session.
How are you feeling? That was definitely along the lines of a more typical client.
You watched that one too?
I couldn't bear the thought of you getting 2 really intense clients in a row. I just wanted to make sure everything went smoothly.
Thanks, Ray.
Are you getting used to the system now?
I still feel like it's kind of restrictive. I wish I could interpret what Eliza prompts instead of reading it exactly.
Yeah, it's like I said, a lot of new proxies run into this. They'll say, if only I could just talk to them for real, if only I could say what I really wanted to say. That's a really common feedback point.
You're never tempted to break away from the script yourself?
Nah, it's just not part of the job, you know? I learned to compartmentalize pretty early on, and that always served me well. People overestimate their own abilities. Have you ever had an interaction with a stranger where he clearly thinks he's getting along with you way better than he actually is?
That's an interesting point.
Sure, hasn't everyone?
It's like that. People like to think they can play therapist. It seems easy if all you know is the movie version. You know, where you get paid to sit there with your notepad and say, I see, or every once in a while. The reality is, active listening takes a lot of work. It's much easier to just zone out a little bit and let Eliza run things. It's kind of meditative in a way. You just follow the prompts. I know computers telling you what to do has this negative connotation to it, and people who want to criticize us call it dystopian or whatever.
I gotta say, in terms of the idea of Eliza, I see both sides, right? I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I see the first guy's point that we talked to, and I kind of see Ray's point a little bit too. I don't think that either are wrong, necessarily, but we'll see how this plays out.
But it's like any technology. It's a tool.
Ray looks thoughtful for a moment.
Either way, you're doing fine so far, Evelyn. This is a busy day, too. We might break our single-day record if no one cancels.
Is volume especially high right now?
It is, yeah. It really rose around the beginning of the year. We've been in the press a lot lately, so it could be that. Could be it's New Year's resolutions, too. People coming in, wanting to sort their lives out once and for all. This year is the year I'm really going to start addressing my problems. I mean, I get that. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I told you it was simple, right?
I
Just
didn't mean to
keep
cut
up the
that
good
off.
work following those prompts, and you'll be leveling up in no time.
Leveling up in no time. This year is the year I'm really going to start addressing my problems. I definitely remember thinking that. I remember thinking that 3 years in a row. I agreed to meet up with Nora at the cafe nearby. I almost didn't recognize her when she came in and sat down at my table.
Evelyn! It's been so long since the last time I saw you in person.
She used to stick to a very subdued and professional look. Guess she really wanted to put those days behind her.
It's definitely been a while. 3 years?
Yeah, almost 3 years.
Feels like no time at all.
Well, I'm glad you're back doing something. But you didn't tell me what the new job is.
Oh, well, it's, being a proxy counselor for Eliza.
You're kidding me. That's an interesting choice.
I'm not quite sure why I did it. Maybe I thought I'd be able to see things in a new light.
Wait, so do the people at the counseling office know?
No, not yet. I should tell them, probably. I don't know. It's unkind to keep it a secret. I'm sure it'll get out eventually. one way or another.
Yeah, it probably will. Evelyn, how are you these days? I mean, really, how are you?
Sounds like we have our own dark past here. Sounds like we're not very sure if I'm playing as Evelyn.
I'm not sure.
I knew you were working at that bookstore for a while, but other than that, it's like you dropped off the edge of the planet.
Well, I wasn't up to much.
I checked your social media once in a while, but nothing. Not that I blame you. I hate all those apps.
Yeah, I deleted them.
I struggle to find the words to talk about what happened, but they don't come.
I don't know what happened. It's like...
There's something dark in my mind, blocking me when I try to go there. A void.
I guess I'm still not ready to talk about it yet.
It's okay. Take the time you need.
I wonder...
I'm sorry, Evelyn.
I wonder if Evelyn tried to do something.
I knew you were in a difficult place after what happened, and I wanted to say something. But I worried that maybe you don't want to hear from anyone from your past. Maybe you wanted to be left alone and not reminded of the old job.
It's nice to know you were thinking of me.
Well, I'm glad. I was kind of going through a lot myself last couple years.
That's right. What about you? How is your life these days? What's it like being a rock star?
It's a lot of work, actually. I have to prepare for the show next week. I have 2 collaborations ongoing, and I'm applying for funding for another. A big one.
Cool. Good for you, Nora.
I'm also advising on an art activism group that makes art installations to challenge people to think about the ways technology is affecting their lives. Oh yeah, and I'm working on this, kind of like it's a granular synthesis engine, but with a new twist to it. It should be interesting.
Nora sounds like a really cool person that I would be friends with in real life.
Granular synthesis. Sorry, I don't know what that is.
It's a way to make sounds out of smaller sounds called grains. Maybe it's better to show you than to explain in words.
Sounds like you're busy, but happy.
Yeah, it's good. I make less money than I used to, but I don't care. Old me might have worried about that. Not anymore, though. Sometimes I do take a little contract coding work, but I'm making most of my rent with booking fees and selling music and so on.
Nora sounds like the kind of person I'd like to be in the future. Working contractor from home, but doing what I really like in the afternoons and evenings. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
Kind of crazy. Kind of scary. But good.
If it makes you happy, it seems worth it. Maybe I should consider moving in a direction like that.
You should. Listen, I hope you can get away from the industry too, at some point. Ah, that reminds me what I was going to tell you about.
When they say the industry, I wonder if they mean big tech. Because it sounds like Nora used to work in tech, which might be how she knows Evelyn, but we don't know really anything about Evelyn's past yet.
Our old boss is back on his bullshit.
Rainer? Soren?
Soren. Soren Lloyd Rose. Celebrated psychologist, entrepreneur, and creepo.
Creepo?
He wasn't ever weird around you? Did I ever tell you about the time that he hit on me with a story about past lives and the thread of destiny?
Oh, man. Guys, this game is hitting me where it hurts because maybe you have to work in Silicon Valley type tech jobs, or maybe you really don't, but I have an axe to grind with tech CEOs, and it's whoever wrote this game, I can already tell is absolutely brilliant and has been through the same bullshit that I have, and a lot of developers and tech people have, and the truth is a lot of entrepreneurs and tech CEOs aren't really any smarter than the rest of us. They're just really good salesmen who are really good at bullshitting, and that's just the truth. And I kind of get the vibe that this person that they're writing into the story sounds like the same kind of people I've dealt with. Steve Jobs comes to mind. Yeah, for me it's when I used to work at a small startup, and there was a very eccentric CEO there who was so full of shit. And we found out after the company folded that he went by a different full name before. And when we Googled it, we found out that he had started another company, took the money and ran. So, yeah, it's a very unctuous business. And in addition to that, it's why I cannot stand like Elon Musk and a bunch of other tech CEOs who are similar to that. It's not to say that Elon Musk isn't smart, but he's not as smart in a like mathematical genius sort of way that people would want to give him credit for. He's smart at marketing, and when I say even that's kind of only sort of. He's good at branding. And I think that that's what most tech CEOs have in common is they're very good at selling you their bullshit. They're not necessarily good at building products. And yeah, I don't like them at all.
Wait, what?
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, it was early on when the team was still pretty small, 7 or 10 people maximum. He'd gone out with some executives to dinner, and who knows what else. He came back to the office super late. I think it was like at least 11, maybe later. And the whiskey smell was just surrounding him. Like he jumped into a whiskey bathtub with his clothes on. Maybe he'd like to do that, I don't know. Anyway, I was still there for some reason. I was in the crunch mindset. He came over to my desk and started to mumble about, I don't even know how to describe it, just this nonsensical rambling. He started by saying how much he hated businessmen, how ridiculous they are, that they don't know anything. He said that a few times. Then he said he could see my soul, that I was like a reincarnated spirit of, I don't remember, he said some name.
Like a person's name?
Like a mythological name. I didn't hear it very well, but it was like a Buddhist spirit or deity or something like that.
If you guys want a recommendation on the kind of people that this game is referring to, and you're a fan of John Oliver, look up his bit on Bitcoin, because they include a couple tech CEO segments in there that are exactly the kind of person that she is describing, and exactly the kind of person I am describing.
Then he goes on to say how he and I, all of us on the team, we're all these reincarnated spirits sent to relieve human suffering at the end of the world. And we're connected by a thread of destiny that draws us to each other again and again over multiple lifetimes. He talked about it like it was just like a red string you could see. So I'm thinking, is this like some kind of pickup technique? You know, how people will talk to you and say, oh, you are the reincarnation of an ancient goddess or something. Ugh, just because they are horny.
I'm sure he's tried that exact line.
I am like so in love with these fake characters. Honestly, I love Nora. She's so great.
It really sounds like something he'd do.
He went on some more like that for a while, and I didn't know what to do. I wanted to leave, but he was blocking me where he was standing, so I couldn't simply go. I had to keep listening to him. Finally, he mentioned that he would be open to the possibility of sleeping with me, and then he passed out on the couch immediately.
I'm open to the possibility of sleeping with you.
You're kidding.
Hot.
No, not at all. Of course, we never talked about it after that. Certainly I would not bring it up. I wonder if he even remembers. Nothing like that happened again, but I think it was because I took care to not be around if it seemed like he was going to be drunk at the office. I wonder if he's still that way. I'm sure he is.
Wow.
And now he's back. Isn't it exciting? He messaged me the other day wanting to talk to me about some new startup he's putting together.
He left Skanda?
He worked for Skanda, the Eliza app developer.
He's planning to. It's a secret for now. He asked me to join, and I said no, there's absolutely no way. Maybe a long time ago I'd be interested in a chance to start a new company with someone famous like Soren at the top. You know, a time when I'd put up with his shittiness because I believed in what we were doing. Change the world! You know the speech.
That is literally the line that every CEO says. They're like, we're gonna change the world with insert app here. whatever you know about the world, it's going to change. We're the new innovation in XYZ technology. Same bullshit.
Or, if we didn't change the world, at least we might get rich trying. Ah, I don't think that way anymore. I'm tired of the tech business. I'm tired of what guys like him represent. This industry can have fun eating itself and everything around it, causing as many problems as it solves.
Nora, bitch, are you me?
I don't want to be a part of it. It took me a while to see it, but I feel some responsibility for the world we live in now.
Breach, sister.
You've really changed, Nora.
It doesn't feel like I've changed. It just feels like I know more about myself than I used to. I want to be creative, be myself to the maximum. Now I know you weren't lying about leaving social media because I posted about this. A lot.
Yeah, I guess I missed it.
A lot can happen in 3 years. Now I just hope maybe I could talk to other people who are in the same situation I was in. I want young people, especially women, to know that yes, it is possible to get rich by working with guys like Soren. But there is a big cost too.
Boy.
I mean, there's always a cost. Maybe a cost you didn't think about before. Or maybe it's a cost you thought you would be okay with paying, but then when the debt comes due, you realize, oof, it's bigger than you thought.
Nora pauses for a moment. I wonder what the cost was for her.
Now that's my conclusion. But you, on the other hand, you should go and say hello to him.
To Soren.
Yeah, he's giving this big keynote talk next week, you know?
Why would I do that?
It's the reveal of his new startup. Many people will be watching.
Why should I go to that?
It will be interesting, don't you think? You're already working as a proxy for Eliza. That must be giving you some new perspectives. Now you'll get to see what Soren believes the next step is. Don't tell me you're not the least bit curious.
I don't know. Maybe I am. It's free to attend?
Of course not. It's at one of those conferences you pay thousands of dollars to get into. But lucky for you, I have an all-access pass. Here,
Are we
take
going
it.
together at least?
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah, he had one sent to me. As if there's any way I would go to a snake person convention like that.
So she sends me.
Snake person.
Ah, you know, people who are like snakes. Venture capitalists. Biz dev.
If you're so against it, why do you think I should go?
Exactly.
Because I already made my decision. You need to go make yours. You're coming out from the cave you were in for the last 3 years, and you need to decide what you're going to do next, right?
Nora leans over the table toward me, a serious look in her eyes.
Evelyn, you're one of the smartest people I've met in my whole life. I'm serious. I've seen the way you approach things like this. You're going to research and learn as much as you can. And only then, when you feel like you know enough, you'll make your decision.
So I know that this is kind of obvious, but I'm going to surmise that Evelyn tried to do something or went through something really horrible. She's probably been depressed for 3 years. Kind of address this in the way that she dresses is maybe a little on the slobby side. I think she looks fine. And we got that email at the beginning of the game that said she hasn't been to the gym in almost 1,000 days, which would kind of line up with the 3-year depressive episode Nora was talking about. She completely removed herself from social media and friends. And it actually sounds like she may have been either a part of a failed startup or lost her job too. So I really feel for this girl.
Isn't that right? You have more to contribute to the world, but you want to know you're contributing the right things in the right way. I've always admired that about you. Anyway, I should get going. I have a rehearsal for a show to get to. It was really good to see you, though. Really, really good.
Yeah, I want to hang out with Nora more.
I promise not to be a stranger anymore, okay?
Nora dashes off to her rehearsal. She's a busy person now. Busy but happy, it seems like. Is that the secret? Keep yourself busy? Komorebi. I wonder what that means. I should try to study Japanese again. One more thing that fell away. It's nice to know this is an option. The tea and coffee at the counseling center didn't look so inspiring. Am I being a snob? You like what you like, Evelyn. The barista here seems like a nice enough guy. He wrote Nora's name, Lola, though. He must have misheard it. My favorite one that Betsy ever got when we went to Starbucks was Bartsy. And I can't remember if we made this one up or if she really got one that was named Butsy, but I call her Butsy now sometimes as a result. Alright, more mail. Let's check it out. There's a reason they're called patience games. The trick is not... There's a reason they're called patience games. The trick is not to get ahead of yourself. Sometimes what seems like easy forward progress is actually something that's going to get you irrevocably stuck. You know, like life. Think carefully before each move and you'll start winning games. I remember you had a good head for this kind of thing back in school, so dare I say you might need to get into that mindset again. You can do it. M3. Meredith M. Mercer. Dramaturge and game designer extraordinaire. Saitama, Japan. Oh, it's like, get back into solitaire. What a day. I have a nice apartment. Been a while since I've done that much in a single day. At least now I can relax. Hey, Evelyn, it's Ray from the office. Just curious, what kind of cookies do you like? I like macadamia nut. Yeah, bitch, they even have it. Decadent. I bake cookies for the team now and then. And I try to mix it up so everyone gets their favorite at least once. Well, it's no big deal. The thing about baking is once you start, it's pretty easy to just keep going. You have everything out, so you might as well do multiple batches. And the cleanup takes more or less the same amount of time. Yeah, I like baking too. It's fun. Cool. Baking, huh? Cooking in general is something I feel like I could try and get better at some point. We should do that more often. Yeah, we should. I like Nora. She was great. I love her. We're definitely going to her show. Okay, now I'm really exhausted. Why is even just texting with people such an effort? Alright, let's take a look at our house. I recognize that USPS box. I should tidy up the shelves at some point. Some of these books still spark joy, don't they? Nice. I hope they do. Those have been sitting here for like that for a long time. I meant to put them up. I'm not sure what I'm waiting for. I don't really feel like doing anything. What happened? I used to have so much energy. I'd stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning writing code. Then I'd be up again at 8, ready to pick up right where I left off. I'm not sure who that person was. Some of these clothes I've had since college. Wish I could reinvent myself like Nora. Not that I would know how. Anything else? Looks like that's it. I'll just get to bed now. Being old sucks. I feel that, yeah. Chapter 2. Oh, now we're going to that cool tech conference. I can't wait. One Mind 2.0, escalating the wellness revolution. Oh, this is going to be hard for me, huh? No wonder Nora didn't want to come here. Right? I'm not sure I could take something like this seriously myself. Maybe that's why Soren is successful and I'm not. Am I late? Looks like the talk is already happening. this place is packed. I'll stand in the back.
So, to get back to my original point, the current state of the art is AI-driven counseling, typified by apps like Eliza. Let's talk about the model here for a second.
He looks a little haggard. I wonder if he's okay.
It all begins with data. You collect all the data you can. From base level metrics like heart rates, body temperature, blood pressure, to higher order metrics like hand movement, head movement, gaze aversion. If the client lets you, you'll want to pull from their digital life too, their message histories and email, their search histories, and online behavior. It's all potentially valuable.
Ew, I don't like that at all.
Then you compare the client's responses to relevant data from thousands of other clients and build a model of the client's psychological state. This approach has worked well so far. Eliza is still the best and most advanced version, but that's just my personal opinion. For those of you who don't know, I was the team lead and chief psychologist for the Eliza project at Skanda for a number of years.
He's a psychologist? Taking credit for all of it, I see.
Now, even though this is a proven approach, there are two weaknesses I'm going to highlight. One is the data I was just talking about. You're completely dependent on that.
Man, these PowerPoints are triggering.
Collect as much as you can, sure, but it's important to keep in mind that you can have all the data in the world and still not understand why things work the way they do. And that's important for us to note, because if we have something that works, but we're not sure why, then what do we actually understand about ourselves? The crucial step after data is the model. The data needs to be used to validate a model. If you can't make a model, you're finished. If that sounds like basic, obvious science to you, it is. But I was surprised to find out just how many people from the tech sector don't think this way. I suppose you don't need to understand why something works in order to make it into a product and sell it. Obviously, though, if you had mastery of the underlying details, you'd be able to adjust the process and potentially make it work even better.
The audience is getting impatient. Clearly they're expecting something big.
One further note while I'm discussing modeling. Many of the startups trying to address mental health right now are completely ignoring the insights provided by the field of traditional psychology. They do so at their own peril. Many of you know already, but as a brief personal aside, I was a professor of psychology before I joined the tech world.
Now keep in mind the conversation we had with NORA and what we know about this guy as a person.
I'm continually stunned at how little the tech heads know or even care about the hundreds of years of psychological research that has gone on in my field.
This dude.
That's something I can talk about at length, perhaps another time. For now, I'll move on to the other weakness I mentioned. This is the real one, the big one. It's treatment. A system like Eliza can tell what's wrong with a client to a certain level of accuracy, but it doesn't quite know how to turn that into a comprehensive treatment plan. It can suggest therapeutic programs and activities, and soon it might even issue its own prescriptions without having to go through a doctor or a psychiatrist. Well, as long as the FDA continues to look upon us favorably. But those are blunt instruments compared to what I'm going to talk about next.
Maybe this is it. Is he going to go where I think he is?
Many of you know there's a technology still in its infancy called direct stimulation.
I don't like that.
For those of you who haven't heard of it, direct stimulation is a way of creating sensations within the brain with targeted electrical impulses.
I don't like that at all.
Imagine an augmented reality headset, but instead of working on your eyes, it stimulates the brain in such a way as to induce a specific dream.
Actually, I'm just kidding. Real talk, I probably would like something like that.
A spring meadow, for example. This sounds fantastical, I know, but progress on this technique has been occurring faster than you think. We're actually quite close to a workable demonstration model. How is that possible? Well, first of all, we only suggest an overall feeling. Your own brain does most of the work, just as it does in your dreams. It fills in all of the visual details using its own set of memories and expectations.
Ah, so this is what everybody came to hear.
Induced dreams via direct stimulation can contain all the therapeutic content of VR therapy without the need to create realistic graphics or other content. Instead, it harnesses the brain's creative power to dream up the situation for itself. Combine that with the insights we gain from parametric therapy systems like Eliza, and you have a complete end-to-end, fully automated system. It should be clear now that
totally
this
something
heralds
I
a
wanna
revolution in how we treat, how we
ask a bunch
think
of
about
venture
mental
capitalists
health.
with.
And with mental health challenges on the rise across the globe, it couldn't come at a more crucial time. So,
Would you want Apple to allow you, Apple or Google, to just like poke you right in the brain hole?
that's why today, right here, I'm announcing Aponia, a new company to make induced dreaming a reality and end human suffering as we know it.
What did I say? What did I say all tech CEOs say? And, we're gonna change everything as we know it. They all say that.
I should note that I remain on good terms with Skanda. In fact, they're a minority investor in this new venture. But still, I'm very much going my own way on this. It's no secret that Raynor and I don't always agree, and that's why we mutually decided I should pursue this paradigm shift on my own. As for details on the venture itself, I don't have anything specific to announce at this time other than that the technology is real and working in prototype form already. But you can be sure to hear more from me on that soon. Thank you.
Chris Manzoni bookstore. Went to Megas Books today and Shelley told me you don't work there anymore. Maybe sad. You're always the best part of going to that store for me. I always appreciated your presence there. Best of luck in your new endeavors wherever they may take you. Eliza Counseling Services to be introduced at Redmond Middle School and High Schools by Jasmine Hurling. Skanda and the Redmond School District are partnering to roll out Eliza, a mental health evaluation and counseling tool for middle and high school students. Conversations with the virtual counselor will screen students for risk factors, identify their needs for interventions, and support positive mood levels. Other King County school districts, including Bellevue School District and Lake Washington School District, are following suit with their own rollout plans. Eliza is an AI-driven conversational tool to support mental health developed internally at Skanda. While the Seattle-based company's counseling centers are well known for employing human proxies between the AI and the client, the school implementation will take the form of a web-based chat interface. These kids are more used to sharing information about themselves in text-based conversations than adults are. So that's why we've zeroed in on this as the best mode of interaction for this particular application, says Edwin Park, Service Director of the Eliza program at Skanda. Conversations with Eliza take about 10 to 15 minutes each and will be required, but not limited to, one conversation every 2 weeks. Students exhibiting high-risk factors will be referred to a suite of potential interventions, including connections with common community success mentors, additional counseling, or psychiatric evaluation. Eliza's tracking capabilities will be able to provide a full picture of students' mental state over the school year and eventually over the course of our lives, says Roland Orring, Executive Director of Student Services for the district. This, he explains, is an important factor in detecting potential problems in students who may otherwise seem normal on a day-to-day basis. The goal here is to find the kids that are most at risk and take proactive steps to get them tools and support they need to grow into happy and productive members of society, says Orwing. This is a complex problem with an evolving solution set. Eliza is just one facet of what the bigger issue is involving not only the kids, but their families, our teachers, and the wider community. And the forwarder looks like our mom, Mary Aubrey. Are you still mad at me? Nevertheless, I hope you are doing well, Mom. Oh, so Evelyn is half Asian, and her mom is the white one. Interesting. Interesting. This feels more like a press conference.
Now, I can take a very limited number of audience questions.
The crowd starts a search for him. He's going to the mob. I plan to find him after the mob is going to work. And we meet after. Why do you want to talk to this douchebag? I would absolutely never work for the failed apps that I work for. I don't know what I was thinking. Whatever my element is, this is not it. I should just get out of here before anybody recognizes me. Except as I attempt to do that, I have to start. Emerges from an elevator,
Well, look who's here.
Hey.
It's like I've seen a ghost.
He looks kind of cute. Well, looks like I've seen a ghost. Yao Ren Rainer. Oh, he's Chinese too.
Good to see you too, Rainer.
Where are you these days? I lost track after you left us. By the new office sometime. You should see where we're taking Eliza.
Yeah, it's like really quiet and echoey for some reason. Let's just try that.
Sure.
Good. Sarah will set something up for next week.
Sarah, you say? Sarah and a hot Chinese guy, you say? He glances at the person standing behind and to the side of him, presumably Sarah. She nods almost imperceptibly.
See you then.
I agreed before I could think about it. What's this all about? What does Rainer want with me? We didn't interact much at all when I worked there. I didn't think he would even remember me. I've hardly done anything, and things feel like a tangled mess already. Okay, this game just got too real. Yeah, somebody like stalking my actual life right now. Ain't no shame in my game, though. 12 Seattle area contingent staff, due to limited space, contractors, including Eliza proxies, are not issued Sconda parking passes. Do not attempt to park in Sconda lots without a pass. Your vehicle will be towed. Please find street parking around the area, or use one of the many mass transit options available. We are aware parking is an issue and are looking into securing additional parking at the Queen Anne and Bellevue locations, but currently there is no timetable for extra spaces becoming available. Apologies for the inconvenience. VP of Facilities. Valued proxies, I've continued to receive questions about how proxies should interpret and work at Eliza's counseling phases. Here's one more attempt at explaining it. Sessions are built around a 5-part structure. Okay, so this is what I was saying earlier, where they all kind of say the same thing. This is pretty much confirming that. Number 1, Eliza begins with an introductory phase to build rapport and build a psychological state model of the client. Listen actively during this phase, as clients are able to tell if the provider proxy is uninterested. Your performance should be smooth and natural. During the discovery phase, Eliza transitions to the topic of the client's problems and begins to introduce probing questions. Be attentive to the client and speak your lines in a clear but gentle manner. As the client answers questions, Eliza detects the client's rationalization and explanatory strategies. Eliza will then challenge the client's assertions with the goal of inducing the client to reevaluate their current notions. Remain neutral during this phase, and do not adopt a confrontational speaking style. In the intervention phase, Eliza selects one or multiple interventions from its toolkit of cognitive exercises, therapeutic applications, and recommendations for prescriptive medicine. And at the session conclusion, the client is asked to rate the experience. The proxy provider receives the client feedback, as well as the performance-based incentives as determined by Eliza. Be cheerful during this phase so clients feel comfortable with the idea of returning to Eliza soon. So, it's been a while since I've taken a psychology class, not since college, but John has told me about active measures that psychiatrists use because he did his own psychiatry rotation, and it actually sounds like the AI is based on some real cognitive behavioral therapy methods, but obviously it's not perfect. We've seen a lot of things that we already didn't like about it. Why don't we take a break right now, and then I'll come back. I want to pee, and I also need to get the dog some water, but I'll go ahead and end the recording.